can get flow and maybe drain whatever's in the tank without dropping the tank.
There it is. I heard it.
Oh, it stinks. How bad it is. Varnish. Get another jug. I don't know how much is in this thing. It's probably full tank of garbage gas.
Just let me see what it smells like. Oh yeah, it smells like bad gas.
Well,
it doesn't smell like good gasoline. It smells like stinky old gas.
Well, the good news is it's not clogged or rusted. The bad news is I think we're at 6 or 7 gallons that we've pulled from this tank of this awful stuff that I don't know how we're even going to get rid of because it's so foul. I think we've got it down far enough that we can dilute what's left in there and it'll run.
It's clean bad gas.
I mean, it might be 6 years old, this gas.
Is that full now?
Yeah, this is about full.
Holy crap, there's a lot of gas in that thing.
It's still going. We're going to need to use an electric pump because the 2.9 would have had a pump in the tank, and we're not going to do that. We're just going to run one of these fast. Check that out. It really blows the fuel. It really moves some fuel.
How big's the tank in that? Like 10, 12 gallons, something like that?
Probably. They all are, right? In the wintertime, it gets dark early, so we're going to want to use the light. It's now or never. Hook the alternator up. So I have 2 alternators. I have the one that came off the 2.8 Bronco 2, and I have the one that came on the 2.9 in the Ranger. And I thought that they were the same except for wiring. I still had the voltage regulator from the 2.8 in the Bronco, and it had been originally mounted up here, but this wiring, anyways, I worked the wiring back, and some of it went this way, some of it went that way, so I just clipped it off. I moved it over here, so it's like right here. So wires that need to go between the two are simple, because some of the wiring was missing. I did find the original wiring from this. I made some clippies so I could just, you know, formulate a new harness. Yeah, that was all working swimmingly. I took some time. I found on a Mustang forum, I found, you know, like an image of this with a pinout. So I knew where everything went between these two. And so this was the one that was on the motor, the 2.9, and it's got it's got 6 wires instead of 3. So I thought, well, let's deal in the simple. I went to put this on, and you'll notice with the bolt at the bottom down here, the position of the mount is off to about let's say, I want to say 2 o'clock. On this one, with the position there, it's at 12 o'clock. See, so they're not clocked the same. And so this little stubby bracket, it doesn't reach, you know, the thing is here and it doesn't come up all the way. So I thought, well, I'll use the bracket off the other motor, and where it mounts down here, that hole doesn't exist on the other motor. The bracket for the other one is this big long thing, and it bolts to something that's here, but this is all different. It's redesigned. The two do not intermingle parts very well, so we went back to the newer style with more wires, and I learned that it was internally voltage regulated. So this thing here is just, it's completely out of the picture. It's not going, I'm going to take it out, it's not going to do anything. And then it looked complicated. There's 6 wires, but it's actually not really that complicated at all. 2 of the wires are power. I guess they were having problems with the wires, the terminals overheating, so they just doubled up. So these 2 terminals are the same thing. They go to the same place. These are the ones that go back to the alternator for charging. Not bad. This wire here, this 3rd wire down below, is actually one of the wires for the internal voltage regulator. So, well, that's simple, and they're labeled. I have them labeled. They're actually stamped on a part that you can't see, so I wrote it on there with white pen. ASI. I is for instruments, so this little wire would go to your gauge, or your idiot light on the dash to tell you that it is or is not charging. This is the stator wire, so it goes down below, and then if you look really, really close, it's embossed on the housing, battery, stator. So this just loops to itself, which that's pretty simple. And then this, believe it or not, it just goes to 12-volt power. So it can link up to these other 3 red wires, or these other 2 red wires that go back to the battery. Now, I haven't figured out if this is a switched power. The wiring diagram I had didn't seem to suggest it needed to be switched power, but I might have to put this on a switch. I'll have to find that out. It's a little scary, but it actually is not too difficult. I'm assuming this worked because we had charging when we pulled it out of the Ranger, and the belt lines up. The next part of it that I worked out, is a whole night to make it work, right, was the power steering. It is now, you could see, mounted in place. The bracket that existed on the pump that was on the Bronco 2 was not correct. Couldn't use the bracket from the Bronco 2 on the 2.9 engine. No interchanging. But I think that was good because you could see these lines are kind of cleaned up. There was a pretty bad leak, and I think it was the pressure line from the Bronco leaking profusely. So the line from the Ranger, it's clean. It looks to be a replacement line. So that's all plumbed up and filled and bolted in. There's bolts that go into the water pump housing. There are bolts that go to the old air conditioning bracket, which obviously we're not going to ever give it air again, so that's just out of the way. I'm hopeful that the steering box does not leak too much. So power steering, which is not so, like, I can muscle it around. It's not so bad, but with big tires, if we want to use it to maneuver around in tight spaces and move vehicles, the power steering pump will be a really nice feature for me. But for Buffalo Campo, he doesn't want to have to muscle things. I know in the past when I've made him move vehicles that didn't have working power steering, he really struggled. So this is good. This makes it a much more usable rig if we've got that going. And I think that we have 95% on the power steering. I'm feeling pretty good about that. That's going to do what it needs to do. Having to pour a bunch of fluid in things every time you run them is the opposite of convenient and useful. All right, another step on the Bronco 2 has been wiring. This thing did not have any wiring. I was using little alligator clip jumpers to test it. It really needed something real. So I found a couple of pieces of wire that were not all red or all black. I got a green one here. The green one is the signal wire from the distributor. The red is power to the distributor. They go to the ignition coil, right? And we didn't have the connector, so I just jammed some butt connectors in it, squeezed them down and jammed them in there. So that's good. This is the coil. I had the ignition on for a little while when I was testing the relays, which I'll get back to that, but I had the ignition on for it got hot. Like I could smell it like cooking down there. And I thought something's wrong. I found it. I was like, uh-oh, ignition coil. So they make high resistance ignition coils and they make low resistance ignition coils. Most electronic style ignitions are using a lower end, especially if it's like a computerized thing and it just sends a signal to the ignition coil. But, you know, the old style, like what I have in the distributor here, it turns it on and off, and it actually leaves it on most of the time. Well, when you're having that, you need a resistor, like a ballast resistor. You need either a resistor wire, which I think Ford and GM generally used a resistor wire, or a resistor coil, which you can buy a brand new resistor coil, which you only need one or the other. You don't want to use a resistor wire and a resistor coil. So anyways, you gotta match your resistance. That's probably a whole nother video that I'm not going to do right now. I like that coil. It was low resistance. So what I did is I wired in a Mopar style ballast resistor, tacked it there. If we ever needed to change the coil, we could just, you know, jumper past it or whatever, but for now it should keep this thing from overheating. That's good. I found in the harness here, I found a way to provide power to the cab. So I got cabin power so that like the radio works, and so that the headlights come on. That's good. I did some testing with a test light, and I found a wire on this connector here. It's orange. Cut it off, and it's on the key. So keyed power, and I put it on a little Amazon cheap relay, so that the key turns on the relay. The relay gets power from the main cable here where it mounts. Right here I just have like a big shared sort of terminal lug with a piece of tape stuck to it. Anyways, so power from the battery goes through the relay, and it powers the distributor, and it powers the ignition coil. And that same one powers another relay, and that relay powers the fuel pump. We have an electric fuel pump, which I'll show you that shortly. It powers the fuel pump. So I've got two relays powering pretty much everything that this needs, which is not fantastic, but you know, they're the same relay, so I'll keep a spare in the glove box, and if we ever have a failure, it's all very simple. Everything goes back to the battery. I've got a big lug here that goes to ground. You get the picture. This whole bird's nest here, and then all these wires are for like the turn signal, the headlights, marker lights, that kind of stuff. And then there's a bunch of other wires in here that I don't know what they do, that I haven't bothered to track down. I believe this wire here for the windshield wipers. I think this is hooked to something and will work from. It'll get cabin power and work. Let's hope. Wiring. It is difficult. And then if we can get the power from here over to the battery, it should maintain the battery and whatever you need in the cab, and that should make it a very utilitarian vehicle. So that's wiring. Yippee. Fuel system, I swear I videoed it before, but I'm gonna do it again, and maybe this will be better because it's more assembled now. Maybe it'll make more sense. So the first thing was the fuel tank. I was gonna drop the tank, so I found the hose for the tank up here. This engine doesn't have a mechanical fuel pump. The Ranger has a pump in the tank, so we needed an electric fuel pump, so we did source a click-clack pump, pretty basic. I don't know that it would hold up to long-term use, but cheap and basic, so that we have fuel pumpage. And I hooked it to a relay so that it comes on with key-on power, which is good. I wanted to use the tank because it's simple, it's underneath, so it doesn't get sun on it. And anyways, it's nice to be able to use the regular tank. It's a pretty big tank, and I figured I'd drain whatever garbage was in it, and it did smell really bad. And as I started to draw more and more gas out of the tank, I realized that there was more and more gas in the tank, and we pulled more than 10 gallons of fuel till we got to the bottom of the tank. So that was fun, finding containers for all that really garbage fuel, and I burned a couple gallons in the van, hopefully without causing any harm to my van, but we're not going to put it in any other vehicles because the van is pretty tough. It can endure that kind of thing, but the other vehicles, I don't want to risk it. I found the return line for the fuel system. It is very tiny. It's just this little bitty, maybe 1/4 inch or 3/16 line that goes back to the tank, and I blow on it and you can hear it blowing in the tank through the filler neck, so that's good. I have fuel and return. When you're building a fuel system with an electric fuel pump and you want it to stay low pressure, you need to have you need to work that out. You can't expect that pump not to build too much pressure. What's going to happen is you're going to blow through the float of your carburetor, and you're just going to pump too much fuel. It's super, super common. All the cheap pumps, it might, when the engine is off, it might be okay, but when it gets 13.5 volts instead of 12 volts, it's going to pump harder, and it's unpredictable, and it's not good. The best thing to do is to run a bypass and then sort of choke down the bypass. Well, this is perfect because it's only a 3/16 return line, so it's going to put a pound or maybe 2 pounds of pressure on the seat of the carburetor, but no more. This is not a high performance engine, so we don't have to have really regulated pressure. As long as there is some pressure, because it's a gravity system. The float is gravity, not pressure, right? So it's a gravity system. When the fuel drops, the float drops. It's not pressure against the seat that controls when fuel goes in, but obviously if there's not enough pressure, then it won't move fast enough. Anyways, what we use the fuel comes from the pump into the filter, so we can see that it's pumping. It moves to here where there's a T. The T goes to the return line to the tank. So there's never going to be a lot of pressure in this, but there's enough flow that it's always going to fill the bowl of this pretty rapidly. And it will never build pressure because there is a return line. Now, obviously, if you put an oversized pump on this, you could overpower this return and maybe create pressure, but that's not going to be what happens here. Looks simple, took a bunch of time to sort out, but I believe it is sorted. When you turn the key on, the relay comes on, the pump comes on. You can see fuel going this way, and it good. So that's our fuel system. Next. All right, the next is our throttle, and it is pretty simple. I broke out the welder, and I made some really ugly little tacks on this rusty firewall. And all this really is a plate with a piece of mild steel tubing, also tacked to it where the cable comes through, so that keeps the cable from lying down. We also tacked a bracket onto the bottom of the intake here. It's got a hole in it, and I've got a little bracket that will hold it's going to hold this cable in place, and then I'm going to need to get some kind of thing to hook a cable to the existing little throttle hole here. Bent this piece of aluminum and tethered it where I like it for the return spring. And we ain't racing, so we don't need a dual return spring. And that's pretty much all it needs. Goes to the inside to the factory pedal, which got damaged. That whole thing got destroyed in the fire. That's where all this blackness came from. Made an air filter. This fits on top of here, but it sets up too high to use the whole housing, and I bent that into an arc. I've got this piece of foam that came out of some fancy-dancy Amazon filter that also sat way too high. So I just put that foam there. Now it can't get sucked in the foam, but we're gonna eventually find a better cover. And once we get the hood on, which is coming very soon, I didn't want to put the hood on until we had all this stuff done, because I got so much better light when there's no hood. That it's actually really nice to work in the shop when you're filming without a hood. The next. I've been plugging away here every day, a little bit at a time, and it's really starting to add up to a good size video. All aluminum radiator that we have sourced. I did buy it from Amazon because easier returns than eBay. It came from China. It is crudely welded, but it is TIG welded. I'm gonna hope that they pressure tested it, and I'm just gonna fill it up. It is a drop-in without any modifications. Campo is big on radiators, so he made me take the thermostat out to check. So we just gotta clean this up and put it back on with a new, it's got an O-ring style gasket instead of a paper style gasket. I want to say a huge, I mean, eternal thanks to Lester LeSabre and Dirt Road Landing, who made sizable donations to our live stream chat to help get this radiator. And as you can see, I have scavenged and scrounged everything else to make this work. But this radiator, we were just not able to repair. The factory stock style radiators, and you can get them cheap, but they don't hold up. They're unreliable. The plastic and aluminum, it cracks under pressure, we'll just say, and it's impossible to repair. We've got 3 of the bad factory style ones, and it was painful to consider buying another one of those. So we spent more money. Thank you to, there was other people who made smaller donations in the chat. Every little bit helps. Was wonderful. So we are going to have all the cooling that we ever need. Already have this external transmission cooler hooked up, so we're just going to maintain that and keep it. That'll be enough for our transmission, and this will keep our engine nice and cool. It will be reliable, and if it gets damaged in any way, if it gets a crack or a dent or is punctured in some way, aluminum, you know, can be epoxy repaired or something like that, where the fiberglass plastic tanks are unredeemable. I'm not slacking. All my energy and time has been put into this. I'm not taking it to No Name Nationals. This is just a winter project. The No Name National projects are my 66 Dodge Dart and a 1978 Mercury Zephyr that we've worked on over the last 2 years. So if you want to see those, and you can make it to Sikeston, Missouri on the 19th, that could be a lot of fun. Check that out. Hashtag No Name Nationals. Where's the banner? No Name Nationals. That's the best way to enjoy the event, is to be there. But there will be videos and things about it afterwards. There'll be lots of cool YouTube content creators with their projects there. Hashtag No Name Nationals, and you'll find a bunch of cool people working on cool projects. So definitely check that out. All right, another episode of Kim is Up All Night wiring and sorting on the Bronco 2. I have another relay that turns on the alternator. YouTube University, Google search for images of wiring, and I have a big. And now there's a bird's nest here and a bird's nest over there. We're now up to 3 relays that turn everything on and off from the key. And that's okay. They're kind of daisy chained, so if one goes out, the whole thing is probably going to shut down, but it'll be pretty easy to trace out if you are not right in the head like I am. Anyways, it's all out in the open. I don't think this thing is ready for like prime time. I wouldn't want to take it underwater. It's just going to stop. We have a complete cooling system that holds water. Hooked up now. It has a transmission cooler. It has like all the things that a motor needs now. I think it has a fuel system. It has an ignition system that hopefully did not burn out. It has a ballast resistor now, so that the ignition module hopefully won't get so hot. Exhaust manifolds, but that's it. They're open manifolds. There's no exhaust pipe at all underneath, and I guess that's got to get done because it's going to be super loud, and there's no way to, you know, pipe it out of the garage. So that's probably a bad idea, but we're going to do it anyways. I really want to get a base timing, so I have it's just a locked out distributor, so you just set it and forget it. It doesn't advance. It doesn't do nothing. It's a tractor, essentially. It doesn't have those fancy things like timing advance. I think somewhere around 15 degrees before top dead center will be easy enough to start and give us enough advance to run, you know, through enough power to make it really pull if we need it to. Maybe I'll tweak it a little more, but I don't know where it is at all. So I need to set a timing, some kind of timing that I understand, so that I can then tune the carburetor, and then I can sort of slowly tweak up and down with both things at the same time. I don't know. It starts, that's all I know. I want to use my tools and get some diagnostics here. So the point of starting it here is to flash the light on the balancer and see, and hopefully while we're at it, we are testing everything else. The fuel pump and relay, the ignition and relay, the alternator and relay. That reminds me, I want to get my voltage tester so I can stick that on the battery to see if it's making power, and that's if it can run without filling this place up with stink so fast that I have to shut it off or leak something horribly, or who knows what. Power steering I also did. That's a lot of things to test all on a single turn of the key, so let's hope that it's going to cooperate. She's fueled up. I got some ethanol-free gas. It's about $1 more per gallon. I think it was like $3.50 a gallon. And a lot of these vehicles that we don't drive, they sit with the same gas in the tank for a year or more. And if this is gonna not get driven, definitely on the road, it's gonna take a long time to go through the gas. So maybe the ethanol-free will do better, stabilize. I don't know. They don't advertise it as that, but we'll try. Oh, you know what? It doesn't start from the key. It doesn't start from the key. That's my bad. Okay, I forgot the one thing I didn't do is I don't have the start. I don't know which wire is the start thing, and I don't have anybody to help me test around. So that'll be a later. Right now, I'll just use a jumper wire. Cross your fingers. That was a good test. We've got alternator, we have fuel pumpage, we have timing. I have it set now to 15. I gotta find a wrench that I can get in there and wrench it down. I've got the idle tweaked to something I think will be manageable without blowing out the automatic transmission. It's loud and it sounds mean. It's a little missy. It was really bad when the timing was too far off. I think it was maybe jumping terminals where it wasn't supposed to. If you go too far, you're gonna lose your proper index inside your distributor cap with the rotor, and then it's gonna jump randomly. That's a future thing. We need to index it. I don't know. That's like another whole nother couple days worth of work, but I mean, if it runs this good, we'll just like have it at, because I'm sure I can get more out of it with more timing than 15, but you know, a tractor, you just set it and use it. So got a little bit of heat in the engine for the first time in a year. It revs up okay. It's not too, it's a little poppy, but it cleaned up quite a bit. I don't know if you could hear, but it did clean up quite a bit once I got the timing around 15. And I tried to go a little more, it didn't like it, and I tried to go less, and it didn't like that either. 15 is about the sweet spot for a static timing on this engine, it seems like. It gives me some range. Obviously, it's not going to be the best in all range, but it seems to have plenty of vacuum to run this carburetor. And yeah, I guess we're golden. Once I get the distributor bolted down, I might just take it outside and go around in a circle and you know, play. Maybe. Let's try it. It's fighting me on the restart. I think, like, I used a little ratchet thing, little close quarters ratcheting mechanism here with a wobbly to tighten down the distributor, but the only way is to stick your hand down in there. When you do that, the distributor gets twisted. So I've got the timing all whacked off, so I gotta reset it, but I can't get the darn thing to restart. The spark plug, it seems to be a dead cylinder, and it's kind of dirt. It's like sort of black. I got it laid against the manifold here. I'm gonna start it and I'm gonna see if it fires, if it's the wire or the plug, but it might be something in the cylinder. It's a dead cylinder. I don't know why it's like that. Okay, the wire and the plug are not bad, so why is that cylinder dead? It's not good. It's not good at all. I didn't know this was a thing. Maybe I should put a compression gauge on it. Really? Throttle wide open so it gets all the air. That is not a compression problem. That's really stout. That's excellent. He goes into gear. Come on with me, let's go for a ride. I don't know where we're going. We shouldn't take it too far because if it breaks down. And it made a noise when I tried to stop. I don't know what that was, but let's just see how it goes. All right, here she is out in the sun. Running. Oh, it stinks. Okay, let's see what we can do. Oh, it's hard to stop. It's real heavy on the brakes. All right, let's check out the off-road part here. Not gonna go too deep. I want to get way down over the hill where it's a long walk. It stops running. Oh, that sounds terrible. What are we in? Oh, that's not good. Okay, let's take it up around. Back to the shop. Yikes. That sounds real bad. But it does sound mean with the gas. fun. What a time. What a treat. What are we hitting here? We're grinding. I could hear it grinding. Oh, it's grinding on this. Oh, this sounds terrible, but it's actually, it's just like a mud flap. Maybe we could zip tie that up out of the way. That's no big deal. That's just because these are big tires. They're 285 75 16s. They're bald, but they're fine for around here. Look mean. Check it out in the sun. Maybe we'll wash it or something. It starts, it stops. I got the grill for it. Let's see if we can find the grill for it. I took the grill off because I didn't want it to get smashed while I was working. I set it over here somewhere where it could get lost or smashed after I forgot about it. Here it is. Okay. It deserves a little bit of dolling up. It's worked, it's earned it, right? Check it out. Buffalo Campo is going to be impressed. We stayed up all night. Got it running. So there isn't a whole lot to hold it on there, is there? That's part of why I took it off there. Every single fastener supposed to hold it on is bad, but it's gonna look better. It's gonna look better with that on there. Yeah, that'll dress it up. Oh, maybe we'll get the hood. I think the hood is over here. Woohoo! Go get the hood. Yeah, we'll be able to fix that dragging sound right quick with some zip ties. Or some Sawzall, maybe. I don't know. I kind of like the splash guard effect. Here it is. This hood was all nice and painted not too long ago. Last winter we did a paint your hood challenge. I painted it, and then I left it over here because I was working. The bunny rabbits have been living over here. All right, I guess we just drag it over there. At least there's no hornets. Up there is hornets living in it. Well, they were sleeping, and now you snooze, you lose, buddies. All right, maybe we'll put this on. Aha. Hey, welcome to the stream.
It's out.
It's
Let me
out.
see. I
took it down to the woods and back up, but this tire here,
yeah,
there's a rubber. This inner fender well mud flap thing, rubs on the tire. It sounds atrocious, but it's actually not a big deal.
Look at how this radiator goes in here.
It works good, yeah.
Man, that looks nice in there.
Yeah. It's just, watch, it's hot. I ran it for about a half an hour.
Yeah, this is the cool side. So, I was sure it was the motorcycle over there, and then I heard him right away. I hear him right away, and then I hear the engine still running. I go, uh-oh, that's you.
That's me. I'm still going at it here.
So,
oh, this wire isn't taped. That's bad. I gotta fix that. I checked the timing. I got a dead cylinder. I don't know why. I did a compression check. It's got compression. I put the spark plug against the intake manifold, and it was throwing a spark. So I can't understand why it wouldn't be fire. And the timing, all the other ones are right. The timing order's right. I don't know what's going on.
Look at your bypass for the heater.
For the heater? Yeah, I
you
made a little.
used a piece of aluminum tubing.
Yeah, I adapted it down.
Yeah, you had a hose.
It seems like it maybe leaks just a tiny bit.
I used to call that a hose gasket. Yeah, that's not going to hold real well.
No.
You know how you make that work? Put a little gasket cinch on it.
Okay, I'll do that. I got my throttle cable figured out.
So you've been
I got the vacuum modulator for the transmission. It goes to the transmission, so
you've been driving it.
I drove it to the other side of the shop and
Power
back up.
steering work?
Yeah, the power steering seems to work. I found the correct bottom hose.
Oh, okay.
And so it fit in perfect. And I found some bolts to bolt it in. And I've got the alternator.
This is the radiator that all the
yeah, this is a viewer purchased. Beautiful
donated money for the radiator.
Donation. Thank you so much.
Look at how thick that is.
Yeah, that's a two row. I think it said.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Two rows.
They might call that 2 rows. Yeah, they're big wide tubes.
Yeah. There's a 3, but it was another $30, and I didn't think we needed that because this isn't going to make excessive amounts of heat.
Oh, this is plenty.
And I've had it running now a half hour in the garage and out around, and the alternator charges puts out 13.8 volts. A lot of good things are happening. It goes into gear, it goes into 4-low.
So you had tried 4-wheel drive and everything?
Yeah, and it's a torquey thing. Man, does it jump. When you hit the gas, it wants to just scream.
It's holding the grill.
Gravity right
Gravity.
now.
No,
yeah.
It's probably not the best system.
And I found the hood, so...
Although gravity never fails, you know.
Well, the problem is when you start to hit bumps, it's going to just fly off.
You drove it like that?
No. I was dressing it up out here with... Till you showed up, I was just...
Put some safety wire on that so it doesn't fall.
I'm going to, yeah, some safety wire is a good plan. Yeah, will put wire over the whole thing.
And you washed the windshield off.
I had to. You couldn't see a darn thing. Look how...
When I drove it down here, when you pushed me...
Compare how it looks over there to how it looks over here.
When I drove it down here, when you pushed me, I couldn't see anything.
Look, you could see...
I could see, but not...
These trails, they're snail trails in the muck. They eat the algae on the... Anyways, it needs another wash. It was clean when I put it up a year ago.
You can take it over to the...
Pressure washer,
Pressure washer, no.
Yes, I can. That'll be nice.
With this thing.
Yeah, it's good
still
enough.
Kind of janky, but
it's extremely janky, but you
it'll
know,
work, I guess.
The whole thing is janky. It fits right in. I should probably tighten this.
Oh, is that an open water passage?
Well, see, it's at the super top of the system, so it's a good place to bleed air.
So I assume the thermostat opened and everything and worked well.
Yeah.
I mean, when it was running, you could feel it coming off the fan. Or
sticking my hand in there.
No, you put your hand where the air is coming off the fan.
Yeah, it's working. It's
What's
really
this
weird.
Green wire? Oh, that's
an old extension cord. That's the whole alternator thing. It's on a key, so when you turn the key off, it shouldn't drain the battery.
It's an extension cord.
It had 3 nice heavyweight wires in it. I thought that would work. I don't know. I worked with what I had, you know. Stay tuned for more cool stuff.
Yeah, goodbye.
No, say it really good.
Oh, goodbye and stay tuned. Stay tuned, yeah, for more of this. That's going to be fun.
Hey, check it. This thing is insane. It's loud, it's bumpy, and it's torquey as all heck. I'm going to try 4 high. 4 low is crazy. Okay, this is supposedly 4 high. That's a little better. 4 low is like, wow, super low. Come on! We can kick up some dust though. I would think we're going way down in the patch. Can you guys see anything? I can't see what you can see. Okay, 1 arm in it here. At least the power steering works. That helps a lot. Campo wants a ride. Last but not least, we give her an old pressure wash, try and get some of that green slime off. The finish is ruined, the bumpers are rusty. You know, it's a basket case. There's no rust. This thing has no rust, rust-free body. The frame is excellent, actually. I'm not even kidding. It cleans up a little bit. I mean, it's one of those amounts of dirty that you can't get it all in one shot. It's not filthy like it was. Now we can go and get it dirty, which is the fun part, I think. I rode it around enough to know that I need a real good battery hold down, that's not gonna work for long. For some reason we still have a dead miss on cylinder number 3. I've got spark. If I pull the plug out and set it up here, it throws the sparks, and I got compression. I don't know what's going on. I changed the wire. This is a different wire, and it still does the same thing. Maybe I try a different spark plug, but I mean it throws a spark. It's one of them like platinum ones with the really skinny little probe out of it. I gapped it down a little bit so it wasn't too, and like I said, it was throwing spark in open air. I don't know what to do about all that, but maybe it might be some kind of lean condition because of this garbage manifold thing, but all the other cylinders doing good, and it's like a dead miss. So I don't know, I can't imagine what is happening. So if you got any suggestions, I'd love to hear them that. And everything else is probably burned up now from getting it all wet. I don't know. I guess we'll figure it out. We'll see how it goes. Thanks for watching, and next time we'll be probably No Name Nationals, so looking forward to that, and thanks for watching.